help me with my academics because I have friends that can encourage me. Our kids are, happy at Blanca, even when we're distance learning, which is just a real joy to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we would love to see them in person on campus, exemplifying that value of joy. But this is a situation. It's still very doable. Obviously, in the virtual setting, it's minimal, but I think furthermore, we encourage them to show that with their siblings, with their family members. If by chance they're able to go out, like whether it's like grocery shopping or whatever, they can still show those values. And if not, you can definitely do it virtually with others as well.
Yeah, I did take a moment at the very beginning of my first video to tell students, like, obviously it would be easier to feel joy with our community when you were separate. Right now, all of your communities kind of exist in one place, which can be really tough. And so I want to acknowledge to our students that it can be really difficult. Distance learning, not everybody has the space, resources, the time, the support, and that's really important to recognize. And it would be maybe easier to experience joy at school if it were a separate place. And I say multiple times in my lesson this week is that your teachers, your Blanca staff are here to still help you find joy, even if we're distance learning. Because one way that we can express joy is understanding our progress, our academic progress, another celebrating other students. And so many of our students today said that they would love to practice celebrating other students' joy, even if they might not have their own at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I mean, you bring up a good point in the survey. I mean, you always bring up some very good points in the surveys, to be honest. And I think one of those points is just like the difference of like showing off versus like actually thoroughly showing a genuine appreciation, if anything. I think
Totally.
that's synonymous with the word joy. So I think clarifying those two differences was really important for me.
Yeah, I think, what's so interesting is we see people being proud all the time by showing like gear. If you love a team, you wear a hat with that team. If you go to Stanford or Berkeley, you're probably going to have a t-shirt, a sweater. Even our schools, like you have California, you have Cal Poly Pomona Pride. So you have flags, you have t-shirts, and we should absolutely show our pride and joy for being a part of our community, even if it's just a small group of friends, even if it's our classrooms or our whole grade. To show pride isn't just to show off who you're a part of, in this community, but it also means to actively participate. And I gave the example of I'm a proud American citizen and I will vote to participate in the process of making my community better. And so it's not just saying, yeah, I'm a citizen, cool. It's like actively participating in order to be more proud of the place that you're in. So if we were at school right now, I would hope that our students would show their pride by clapping at what's it, Congress, like celebrating different things and really participating in our school culture to show that they're proud of being at Blanca.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of that pride, I mean, you talk about, doing our participating and showing joy through our citizenship and just, where we live, who we are. And I think that's a big part of our identity and our representation. And I think, there's as an Asian American, it was interesting in terms of having parents that immigrated here and tried to figure out that American living. Like honestly, a lot of our students and
So many. Yeah.
yeah, and like you look at like time, like when I was a kid versus like my 20s and now my 30s, and having to revisit that, tackle that, like where can I take pride, where can I take joy, beginning with myself first, and then if I'm able to be very happy with who I am, then I can definitely take that with me to show joy and appreciation for others as well.
Yeah, I mentioned I mentioned in the video in one of my slides that yes, you could do things alone and you can feel joy by yourself, but joy also feels really good when you share it with other people.
Oh yeah.
Am I going to go to school on my birthday and just like not tell anybody? No, I want to shout it from the rooftops and people are going to say happy birthday. You could dance alone and there's nothing wrong with that. But imagine being in a room where 500 people are dancing. That kind of joy is contagious. And if we all felt that same kind of joy for Blanca, we would have this very positive community where people are happy to be at school, happy to even be on Zoom. And so I think it's really important to have that joy and show it, because if you're not feeling very happy at the time, I can have joy and you can celebrate in my joys, or I can share my joys with you. It's contagious in a good way.
Yeah, and I mean, I think an important part is like having no strings attached. If like you're genuinely happy, then you should definitely celebrate for yourself or somebody else. But like, and we live in a country and a society where we're trying to get our 15 minutes of fame, if you will. Whether it's like, getting TikTok famous or Instagram famous or whatever, we're trying to get as viral as possible and get recognized. And pure joy doesn't have those strings attached, and you should really just be happy for the very, very basic things and take it with you.
Yeah. Fame is a type of selfish happiness, I think. You kind of just have that one, you do it for yourself, and then you take all the credit. And there are a lot of YouTubers and TikTokers that our kids follow. And yeah, those people might look happy. And that's good for them. And also, you can have your own kind of happiness if you're not going to compare different people's joy, which is why I really want our students to know that you can share in other people's joy. It doesn't, you don't have to minimize your kind of joy. Like if you got a brand new bicycle, I can be really happy for you. And if I got a new bicycle that was used, but at least it's, my own bike, like you can be happy for me too. I can still be happy even if your bike is newer. Joy is something that's relative to each person. And so when you try to compare people's joys, I think that that's where you end up minimizing. If you're like, oh, you know what, that other school is better than Blanca, dude, participate in our school to make it better. Then be more proud of being here so that you can participate in it. Find joys about what you like about our school, because when you're constantly comparing, you won't find joy. It's going to be much harder.
Yeah, and I think the word that comes up when you're describing that is the word impact. We talk about that as teachers, to our students, to each other, and really impact goes into kind of like an idea of a domino effect. Like if you guys know dominoes, there are little game pieces that you put side by side. If you flip one, everything else starts flowing, and hopefully it's a cool pattern. But things, you get the ball rolling and things keep moving forward. I think that impact goes a very long way if we're doing that as a community, as a family-oriented group. So I mean, that is not only in the school setting, but like I said, in the home, with random strangers, hopefully polite strangers and not weirdos out there. But even just a random stranger, like pushing off like your own, like what's it called, expectation of recognition, like I said before, whatnot, just drop all of that aside and like do the right thing. We talked about like integrity, but showing joy, purely like being happy. And like I think one of those solutions to, if you don't feel like you're celebrated, if you're not getting appreciated and you want that celebration in a way, which is, I mean, at times I think it's understandable. Like I want to be recognized. Sometimes I want people to see and appreciate what I've done so far. And if you really don't feel like that's the case, and I think, showing that impact, like taking what you're joyful about and sharing it with others, and utilizing that, spreading that joy is such a really cool solution to that problem.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying actually about, in the same way that I say that joy is contagious, someone that might have a negative outlook, that can have an impact too, that domino effect. If one person's like, this stinks, I hate this, and then suddenly everybody else starts to feel that way. I think that's why we have to show our own joy and pride at school. And if you're, like if you're not proud of a current situation, if you're not happy with that current situation, you have the power to change your outlook on it. You can ask other people to share their joy. What makes Alpha so great? What makes Blanca so great? Be curious and ask, and maybe try to adopt that that mindset, because that kind of negativity can also spiral throughout our school. And one of our values is joy. So if we all, if you're experiencing negativity at home or in school, it's really important to try to reach out to other people to ask, like, what is something that could make me happy right now? And be open to hearing what those joys could be.
And to add to that, hearing other people's expressions of joy, it aligns with like our conversation about excellence. Like we need to be understanding, empathetic, and how we accept people being joyful. Okay, like I might be joyful about accomplishing this feat. Let's say we talked about boxing last week. You brought it up. Like I'm nowhere near any level of competition level boxing at all. So I'm not as good as Miss Lar for sure. Okay. Now, am I able to learn a couple different strategic movements and whatnot? I should be happy that I made that progress. And Miss Lar shouldn't hold it against me that I only did that. That's it. Like, are you kidding me? That I'm at this level, but you're at this level still? No, it's not about that. It's about the progression. It's about the moving forward and being happy about how much progress I've made. Okay, even if it's a little bit. We're not going to play that comparison game like we were talking about before, but like really trying to understand the storyline of what helped us get to a point where we're really happy with ourselves. We're really happy about the situation.
I think what I also have noticed putting together our lessons is I am so happy about the order we've done things in. It feels really intentional, relationships, integrity, excellence, and joy. I was thinking about how could you not be happy at this point? If you're practicing positive relationships, if you have integrity and you are a good, kind person and you have good and kind people in your life, if you acknowledge your achievements and your progress, how could you not have joy at this point? I think for sure in our Alpha values, if you're practicing at least the first 3, you are really on your way to feeling happy about participating in our community. And you're adding a lot to your life and to others' life. If you can practice those 3, it'll lead to joy.
Absolutely. I think that's a part of our learning. I mean, part of that definition in Blanca Alvarado's poster I read off of, we should be celebrating our learning. And I feel like, sometimes maybe we feel like we're not learning as much or we're not learning really at all. Maybe if that's the case, I think advocacy also comes a long way in that department. Like if you don't feel like you should be as joyful and you can be more joyful, then advocate for it. Speak up, like in the appropriate fashion, obviously. Try to input your insight, your knowledge, your experience, your opinion into it and make something happen. Don't just let it, linger around, lay there, stagnant. Do something about it and make sure that we're moving forward as a community. Because I mean, one little person starts the ball rolling, like everyone else doing it, like we get a whole herd of people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I want our students to know that joy is always an option. And if you're not feeling joy, if you're not feeling happy right now, you absolutely have the power to do something about it, whether it's to change your mindset, change the problem, ask for help. I don't know anybody on our staff that would turn someone away if, a student came to us and was like, I'm really unhappy in my class. We would want to know why, how we, do they have any ideas of how it could be better? Our students are smart students. And if they, spoke up more often about their thoughts, their feelings, their experiences in their class, if they're not feeling joy, we would be able to hopefully do something about it.
Yeah, and trust me, sometimes we push out, well, a lot of times we push out surveys, whether it's the actual mental health survey or if it's like a survey from your gen ed teachers, we push out those surveys for a reason because we want to get to know you more. we all do have a passion to serve all of our students and their families. So your honesty and our trust in you to be honest is a huge part of having that type of relationship, having an opportunity to share joy with everybody.
Mhm.
So I think, sometimes we might actually fill it out and say stuff just to, get things done and make it seem all right. Sometimes we like to hide things, whether, for several reasons, like we just don't care, or we're shy about it. Or I don't want to share my pain, or I don't want to have
Mm.
to burden anybody. Look, it's okay. We're all human. I think those are placed in our systems, in our daily classes, our weekly schedule for a reason.
Mhm.
And day by day, or week by week, month by month, things change. Sometimes things happen that are very difficult and hard. Sometimes things happen that are just really beneficial and really like celebratory. We
Yeah.
want to know all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. We do. We can't have joy as a value if we weren't open to people being unhappy and wanting to work towards it. All of our values are a work in progress, really. We don't expect people to just like have those things right now. It's something that we partner with our students with, and hopefully they partner with each other. Our students can look towards each other in order to make our school better, help each other out in terms of like relationship isn't just teacher and student, it's students and students. Which is why so many of our students were like, yeah, I want to get better at celebrating another person's joy. Mr. S got an A on a paper and I got a B. I'm going to be so happy for him. Yes. So we should absolutely learn to celebrate each other's joys, and if you're not there yet, we can help.
And I think that's a perfect segue to what I was going to bring up. Like, how can we actually celebrate each other? How can we show joy in these circumstances? And one of the things that you actually brought up is something very subtle that we do in the fifth grade class, in my class. Like, just simply agreeing with somebody
Oh, yeah.
is a way of joy. Like, for example, one of our check-in questions about sharing pets, and like a lot of our students showed like their pets. Like, one of my students has a parrot. One of my students has a bunny, and they're like, "Oh, I like bunnies too, so I agree." Look, just the
Mhm.
fact that someone can understand and have the same
Totally.
type of excitement about it is very joyful. Like when people agree with you, or like share the experience, or share the opinion or understanding.
Yeah.
Like when you agree with them, that's one very small way to show joy.
Yeah, I love that. Uh, Also, just smiling. I think smiling is another thing that's absolutely contagious. Yeah, laughter is contagious. I think that seeing people, you know, it feels kind of impersonal on Zoom sometimes with some of our kids that aren't showing their face this way, like on Zoom. Maybe their cameras are up towards the sky. How can I smile or have a connection with you? How can I share joy with you if your camera is up on the ceiling? It's, like we would see each other in class face to face. We should be able to see each other on Zoom. You're going to feel more joy. You're going to share more joy if we can see each other's faces. And then smile and find a reason to, have joy. Yeah, those are the contagious things. That's not, coronavirus, like positive contagious things are really important. And we really need that right now, even in the face of distance learning. This is like when we need the most.
And I can confidently say that your teachers are paying attention to all these little details. Like,
Mm.
you listen to your voice. Like, what does your voice actually sound like when you talk? How do you express things? Some of us talk fast, some of us talk slow, some of us talk louder or like quieter. Um, some of us enunciate really well, and some of us can enunciate a little bit better, but we're trying to process our thoughts. Some of
Yeah.
us, we all have different things that are unique. That's just your voice. Now, your face, we can look at your facial expressions. We can tell if you're happy or sad, your body language, like obviously if you're slouching or whatever. We can tell a lot of things based on those little details, okay? How you dress up for your class, like are you in uniform, or are you trying to show pride in our alpha colors, which is
Mhm.
black and gold, by the way, or black and yellow,
Yeah.
different versions of the same shade. But yeah, those are all like subtle ways. Like you might not be paying attention to those little details, and maybe you are. But we look at all those things, and that's a way that we get joy as teachers to be able to know who you are, how you kind of present yourself, your identity. So, and then to also share that with others in the environment of learning.
Yeah. Being appreciated by one of your teachers brings kids joy. I know that it feels really good to be acknowledged, whether it's from your, from your fellow classmates or from your teachers. And so we as staff also want to give positive reinforcement, acknowledgement, for those things that we see over Zoom, and that will bring our kids joy too.
And so I think this is a great way to actually end the survey and this discussion. Like you brought up an optional owl ticket challenge. I love this challenge because you and I would thoroughly enjoy it for sure. I'm pretty sure that's guaranteed. But also, look, we want to publicly celebrate and show joy through our social media channels too. So we have an Alpha Mental Health Instagram account, and then we also have an Alpha Blanca Alvarado account. We also have a network-wide one too, so hopefully they want to repost or reshare. But look, share these photos, these selfies with Miss Lar.
Yeah.
Show pride, show joy, and we definitely want to share that with everyone in our community as well. And you get owl tickets on top of that? Are you kidding me?
We've gotten like 15.
Nice. So, I mean, those owl tickets will rack up. It might start slow, but they start building up real quick, and then you can start purchasing some of those items that are a part of the exchange since it's been rolled out actually this morning.
Yeah, weekly.
Don't pay for me to get a pie in the face, but maybe some of my other colleagues. But those are one of the things you can purchase. So yeah, I mean that's really exciting for me. I want to present that opportunity for students and really reiterate that we love celebrating you guys out publicly on our Instagram as well as our Facebook page. So please feel free to send those out to your teachers or myself or Ms. Lar. And not only that, we always ask and tell you guys if there's anything that you want to talk about. Reach out to your gen ed teachers, and then obviously our wonderful counselor, Ms. Lar. We're available for you, so please make sure to text, email, or call. If you are trying to seek out the information, check out all of our pages, whether it's the website, the Instagram, or Facebook. All the information is available there.
Yep.
Do you want to add anything else, Ms. Lar?
Nope, just all of our students continue to engage in Mental Health Wednesdays with their forums. It's one of the best ways for us to connect with students and get to know them more on a well-rounded level. So yeah, thank you to all of our students that continue to fill it out, and we'll see you guys next week.